Where did all the children go? We know that there were tons of adults, but not one child in sight. Knowing that the hour of joy was planned, presumably by the toys, and maybe even some of the staff workers. So, did some of the workers maybe lead the children to a safe space somewhere in the factory? If so, where are they now, and are they even alive? Maybe they're with the prototype. Or maybe they're with the other bodies. Personally, I think the children are in the factory somewhere. There is a lot of evidence as to why I think that. For seeing some of the reasons as to why I think that, maybe you will too. When you first start the game, we are greeted with a VHS tape. On that tape, we can see an explanation of the Poppy doll. At the end of the tape, we can see flashes of painted poppy flower around the door where we find the Poppy doll. The screen then fades away to the tape on a table or floor with a letter and an envelope that presumably contained the VHS and letter inside. The letter reads, "Everyone thinks the staff disappeared 10 years ago. We're still here. Find the flower." If we look closely at the lettering, it seems really off. Disappeared is spelled with 2 S's and only 1 P. The apostrophe on we're is placed in an odd spot. Kinda seems as if it was written by a child. The one thing that really stands out to me on this letter is everyone. Who is everyone? Do they mean the public? Maybe some of the other toys in the factory. Or perhaps we're not the only ones to return. If we take a look at the envelope, we can see that there is no address, nor a return address. So this had to be hand-delivered. Well, why did it take 10 years to get delivered to the player? Was the protagonist on the run? Was it hard to track them? Could have taken them years to find them. Or perhaps you had the envelope all this time, just never opened it. Maybe it was a former child that wasn't old enough to deliver or receive anything outside the factory. Or maybe the toys were planning things for years for your return home.
Welcome home.
Did it take them 10 years to set up? Kinda as if they're setting up a show for the children or the player? It may know how to act, seeing as there is a theater room in the entrance of the factory in Chapter 1. Seems as if all this is set up, meaning every toy may know what is going to happen, or some could be blindsided as to what may come. Personally, I like to think that BoogieBot was the one that delivered the tape to you. Going back to my Ollie theory, if you haven't seen that, you should check it out. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. As I said in that video, I think BoogieBot was programmed by the prototype to do his dirty work. Sort of like what people do in our time. Program bots to help us with our daily jobs. Still doesn't answer the question, why did it take it so long to deliver the letter? There are a lot of drawings on the walls, which clearly look to be from a child. It also looks like it was done with time to spare. Some seem to be a warning, others giving praise to the prototype. The VHS tape that we were sent shows a big poppy flower with writing and toys hanging around it. When we arrive, it very much seems to have writing on the walls and have toys hanging all around. If we look at the writing on the wall, it seems to be a warning. No. Stop, run, go back, and turn around. For whoever this may be from, it seems they don't want you to find Poppy. Or maybe they do when it's all a setup. If we look at the toys, they are covered in something red. Now, I don't know if it's poppy juice, blood, or maybe even paint. When we go to the school in Chapter 3, we can see really big handprints in the halls, which is presumably colored paint. Unless there are other colors of blood from toys we haven't seen yet. We can see the same size handprint in Home Sweet Home. Looks similar, only it's not paint this time. Or perhaps blood? Maybe whoever's responsible for these handprints may also be responsible for the giant poppy flower. We see giant holes throughout the factory. It's not difficult to imagine them making a giant toy, and that would be handy enough to repair the factory, like repainting or fixing walls and pipes. Something that would be difficult for a human to do alone. We know the prototype Zan is really big. We don't know exactly how big he is, or if he is capable of this himself. Either way, whoever put these toys there meant it as a warning to whoever this is all set up for. But it still doesn't explain whether the flower was there before the hour of joy or after, and why. It seems that Poppy is in charge of whatever has a poppy flower on it. But if we look at the room behind the flower, it's a very odd place. to have a really important part of the factory, especially while it was still up and running. I thought the flower was put there after the Hour of Joy, but if we look at the official music video, Sleep Well by CG5 on Mob's official channel, it shows the poppy flower as what seems to be the start, during, and I'm guessing a bit after, the Hour of Joy. So why was that room there in the first place, and why was there a big poppy flower? We can say it was Poppy's bedroom, but it's not set up like a bedroom, but more of a memorial or some type of display for her. Why even have that in the first place? I may have to do a deep dive for this entire music video. Looking at more of the drawings in Chapter 3, we can somewhat see telling a story, as if it's all warnings or maybe a rehearsal script. Could this be from the children to the toys, reminding them to follow the script, using pictures to help them? Or suppose it's warnings on what's to come for the player. Maybe it has to do with the children being scared, possibly wanted help from the player. They need the player to get by without dying, so they leave these drawings all over the factory. I personally think that this was the children running around after the Hour of Joy was done. It was them just being kids, free to do what they want and how. It could be a split group. Some may just want to have fun, follow every word that the prototype tells them. Others may be terrified. They go along with the prototype till you arrive to help save Poppy, and save them too. Personally, I think this is all a setup by everyone in the factory. If we look at how Poppy acts every time we're around her, she seems to look around the room as if she's looking at someone or something.
I didn't mean to scare you. I was just trying to get the power back on. Here.
Even looking at the music video, it seems as if Poppy and the prototype are friends. If we look at the scene where Poppy is facing away, then looks back, we can see the lyrics say, "And each other is all we need." We can see the shadow of the prototype as he was going to comfort her or tell her it is time for the show. He then did the same move, catnap, only he touched his back. I think it is very much a setup. Going back to the drawing in Chapter 2, we are running away from Mommy Longlegs. We get to this room with the furnace. We can see arrows pointing, presumably, to where the mold goes, or where we may have to hide. Looking at the same area, we can see the mold for the gear hanging out on what seems to be a rotating lift, placed as if it's all set up. It seems they were capable of setting up the Hour of Joy. It's not far from them doing the same thing, only for your return home. Either way, I think the children are the ones leaving clues around, leading us right to where they want us. Throughout the game's chapters, we can see a lot of writing on the walls and floor of the factory, similar to the drawings. It could be from one of the toys we've seen before. It could also be something much more terrifying. But I think there is more to it. If we look at some of the writings, we can see it looks like it was scribbled on, but not in a state of hurry, more as if there was time to spare afterwards. Like the drawings, some of the writings are warnings, others giving praise to the prototype. Some are asking for help or explaining how hungry they are. It looks like it has been written with poppy juice, paint, or even blood, seeing as it is more than just writing too. Judging by the last VHS tape in Chapter 3, it seems as if all the staff was, let's say, taken care of. So what or who left all the writings on the walls? There could be some survivor somewhere in the factory. It is Mass Place after all, so it's not far from someone managing to stay alive somehow. Knowing what the letter said, everyone thinks the staff disappeared 10 years ago. We're still here. Who is everyone? And what do they mean by staff? As in the adults, children, or maybe even both? Then the part of the letter that says, "We're still here." Who is this, and why haven't we seen them yet? Maybe we did, and it really is the toys. The thing that pops out to me is what Poppy said at the end of Chapter 3, which leads to the next piece of evidence. In Chapter 1, we start the game by being greeted by a bright, painted Huggy Wuggy on the wall. It says, "Welcome." If we look to our left, we can see a Poppy poster. And on the right, we can see a Brawn poster. Both again being bright colors. As we walk up to the counter, we can see bright, colorful tape as if something placed it here. But what? When we play the tape, it seems to be Laith Pierre explaining a security system, but his tone seems as if he's talking to a child.
If you're seeing this, then you're trespassing. Yeah, we play this little tape on loop whenever we close the factory for the day. So, trespasser.
Why would they even have this recorded in the first place? I don't think it's for what may come in through the front doors. Oh, what may come from behind the factory doors. When you rewatch each tape, we can see that most everyone is talking about the children. In Chapter 1, it seems as if Rich and Stella really care for the children. Rich seems to be really frustrated with how things works around the factory. So many rules that don't make sense, but he's putting up with it for the orphans.
It's hard to be happy about it when manufacturing's on our necks about it, because we can't fight stupid hockey boxes! You're right. It's for the orphans.
In Stella's tape, it seems she wants to bring joy to the children. She loves seeing them happy because it reminds her of when she was younger.
Being able to work at a toy factory, somewhere that can provide kids with that same experience, that's a pretty great feeling too.
There is a theory, if it's correct, that Stella could be Poppy. It would make sense that she would be placed as head of play care. She loves seeing the smiles on children's faces, just like Elliot Ludwig. So why not work doing something you love? In Chapter 2, the first VHS tape we see is someone explaining the story of Elliot Ludwig. He's a family man at heart, who loves to bring smiles and joy to all children. It goes to explain that in the 60s, he had lost someone close to him. We're unsure who that might have been. Some people claiming it was his child, others his wife. Personally, I think it was someone he was starting to fall in love with. Maybe that's why his wife divorced him in the first place. Maybe she knew he was having an affair with his assistant, and that assistant was Stella. Maybe something happened to her in the factory that led to Elliot wanting to save her, so he turned her into Poppy. From there, it seems that that's where this all started, but we don't know how or when it truly happened. The thing that Mommy said stuck out as well, how the game station is still up and running.
The game station is still working. It will be just like old times.
Why is that? For who? Jimmy Roth's VHS stood out as well. He explains the power of marketing, and how powerful colors and names can catch the eyes and ears of a child.
I guess I kind of...
Blue is huge. I'm telling you. What's your favorite color? Blue? I bet it's blue, right? It's blue?
It's green.
Okay, well, you're a special case. Most people say blue. But seriously, marketing is not as easy as you think. I make it look easy. If there's anything Playtime Co. should be known for, it's not toys. It's marketing.
Seems as if everyone does it for the children in some way. There's so much talk about wanting happiness and joy for the children. Then why put them through all this in the first place? Seems twisted to me. In the third chapter of the first VHS tape is yet another person worrying about her child.
Bring my little girl back to me.
If we go to the one of Miss Delight, where she seems to be reenacting a conversation she had with someone, she asked, "Where is everyone?" And if the children were safe. They replied yes. She asked if she could see them. But whoever she may have been talking to told her no, because they knew she would harm them.
In the same place as the employees?
No.
Are the children safe? Yes. Oh, can I see them?
No.
Maybe that's why she was locked up in the school in the first place. Whoever it may have been knew she would hurt them, and knew the children were going to get some of their freedom, and couldn't have her take them all out.
Probably because he knew I'd kill them all.
The thing that really ties all this together is what Poppy said at the end of Chapter 3. They ate the bodies to stay alive. What could that have meant? Could she have meant some of the toys? We know Miss Delight was drawn to flesh, but we're still unsure if it was to stay alive, or if it's just her instinct. Maybe she felt the desire to eat, but didn't actually need to. Maybe that's how Oogie Woogie and Kissy Missy are as well. They are all drawn to blood and flesh, so it could have been the toys. But I think they aren't the only ones eating. Throughout the factory, we can see so many toys are in the halls, as if someone just went on a rampage of red rum. I think it's much more than that. I've heard theories of some people thinking it's the toys that went on a rampage, wanting the poppy gas from the toys to get some type of high, maybe just wanting their innards. You think about it though, it could be as if you came home to a child that just played with their toys all day. If you have kids, you know how messy they can get. Having toys in the hallways, some toys are broken, there may be writing and drawings on the walls. may just come home to a mess. I think it was the children that went missing or going through the halls, finding cool new toys to play with, playing with them too much, leading to a broken toy that is then left on the floor as the child grows bored. Then wander in the halls more to find another toy, to then again break it, leading to a cycle of broken toys left all over the factory, just like a child would from our world. In Chapter 3, when we go at Home Sweet Home, we can see a lot of things all over the place, kind of like they were barricading the doors. It could have been people trying to survive, but didn't manage to escape. And now, it's all that's left from the survivors. It could be from the children that are still roaming the hallways to the present. In Chapter 2, when we start the game, we come to a hallway leading to Elliot's office, can hear what seems to be a gas mask breathing noise, and as we walk down a bit more, getting closer to the door, we can hear what seems sound like a girl's voice tell you, "This way." We could say it was Poppy, but if you listen closely, it sounds way different than Poppy's voice. Could then hear another voice. It says, "Keep going." Sounds closer to Poppy, but I'm still not quite convinced it was her voice.
Keep going.
Maybe be another toy we haven't seen yet? Well, with all the evidence we uncovered today, I think there's no doubt it's the children or co-workers that have gone missing. With his tape and letter, the drawings and writings on the wall, the toys left around the factory. Stuff just looks as if he left a whole bunch of children in charge of a big place. So there you have it. Here are my 5 reasons as to why I think the children are still alive. Could this whole thing be a setup by the toys and children to lure you back here to perhaps finish what you started? Or is it just the toys that wanted you back? Let me know what your thoughts are on this theory. Love to hear from you. I have many more Poppy theories to come, so keep an eye out for that. If you haven't already, check out my Ollie theory down below. I will also leave all the creators' information down below. Until next time.